Hello, everyone. Once again, this is King El Bey. Now, I'm gonna I'm dropping a series of videos so people can understand this on how to do a complaint, and I got other more videos coming. But I want to talk about how to properly draft a complaint. Let's say, for example, you signed up with Musk, you had your private plates in there, and they took your car. It was registered under your private trust. You had everything secured the proper way so you could be private. It wasn't in any form registered with the state. It wasn't identified as a commercial vehicle in any way. And you did everything the right way. So we're going to talk about how to file the complaint. So this is an example. And I like to draft my own complaints. And on my own. So this is just example. The state got plenty of examples just to show you. This is a complaint for a notary. They have a lot of different forms of complaints that you could probably look up within your state under your civil rules and procedures. But this is a complaint for money lent. This a complaint for paying money by mistake. It's just it's all types of complaints that you can file. They got plenty of forms if you live in my state. This is Ohio's um, civil rules and procedure. This is their form. So this is by this is just an example. So you type up your complaint. Okay. Then once you type up your complaint, okay, I like to do it. A lot of people sometimes get it notarized. I don't get my complaints notarized. I don't do that. I use this. Uh, I use an unsworn declaration under the penalty of perjury, and I do it without the United States. I do this first one here. So if you see this 28 U.S. Code Section 1746, this is what I use. Oh, I forgot to put in my disclaimer. Um, if you're seeking, I'm not a lawyer. This is not to be taken as legal advice. I'm not a lawyer. So please find yourself a competent lawyer. Um, this is only for educational and entertainment purposes only. So let's get back to filing the complaint. So you file the complaint, you do this in the form of a jurat, and you put this on there, boom, 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 under the penalty of perjury, under 28 U.S. Code. Okay, go back to the complaint because I know I broke it up. Draft the complaint, and you do it in simple, plain English. You draft the complaint, tell what happened, that the state took the vehicle, that the state made themselves a party to a contract, that they took private property, unjustly enriched themselves, and that they took your private property without probable cause. Okay? They took your private property, and that you want your relief is that you want their private property returned. Now, you got to remember this, and this is what people go wrong at. The court can only make you whole. You can't don't go and ask for some astronomical amounts or other things, amounts or stuff that didn't exist. They only can whatever you lost, that's only what you can get. So for example, if you lost your job, let's say they carried the car for about a month and you lost your job due to that. Now you can ask for that whole payment of the year. They have to pay you for that time. And any injuries that occur based upon it, let's say you lost rent, you lost a place to stay or whatever, um, they gotta compensate you for those things. But the state can only make you whole. It can't give you something that don't exist. You're gonna get, because if you start doing that, they're gonna kick your case out. So it only can be something that can make you whole. So you state that the state took the vehicle, blah blah blah. They had the vehicle for 30 days. You're gonna state the facts. They took private property without probable cause, and that you lost your job and result of that, and you made $30 an hour. Blah blah blah. You get a letter from your job. That, but I'll talk about that. So you draft your complaint with all the stuff in there. You draft it up. Boom. It's just simple. You're not using no statutory codes. You're just going to use it in plain English because this is private rights. You're not talking about anything. You're talking about that they took your private property. They used it for whatever, without probable cause. They took it for a personal benefit, and it cost you this. You would like the return of your vehicle, and it also, you want to, based upon that the truck hasn't, or car hasn't received damages, that if it has, you want the court to assess damages also to the vehicle. That got to be in the complaint. The court only gonna give you what you asked for. So if they towed your car and damaged your car, you put all of that in the complaint. You just gotta know how to draft your complaint. So you draft your complaint, state the facts, everything in there, took private property, blah blah blah. You lost your job, and then you state what you lost and all of that, how much, and then you do a calculation. Now, once you do your complaint, the second thing you're going to do is you're going to get your complaint acknowledged by a public notary. Now, here's on the forms. It can be, this is under this, forms of acknowledgement within your state. You get it acknowledged, right? Just going through this, boom, boom, boom. And then once you get it acknowledged, your complaint acknowledged, after you signed it, you put it without the United States, make it a jurat, sign off on it. You do on another form an acknowledgement. This is on another sheet of paper. The notary is going to acknowledge. It's going to be a certificate of a notary attestation and a certificate of acknowledgement. Once you get that done, okay, you're going to get it authenticated by the state or the county. Then you're going to file your complaint. Your complaint is ready to be filed. Now you want to do another thing, is you want to do a proof of claim. Your proof of claim is going to be attached as an exhibit. You're going to state the stuff, okay? For example, you're going to draft your complaint, and you're going to verify in the complaint with Exhibit 1 the loss, okay? They took private property. Here's this, boom. Here's a copy of the ticket. Exhibit 1, boom. That's going to show some type of contractual relationship. That's evidence used. Now you're gonna have that ticket or whatever they took or whatever they gave you that they took the property. You're gonna use that as exhibit. You're gonna state on this date and time, blah blah blah, such and such took my vehicle, blah blah blah. Exhibit. Here's an example of such blah. Exhibit 1. Boom. Okay. You're gonna description of the vehicle. Boom. Number 2, I lost my job, blah, blah, blah. Due to this, the police had my vehicle for 30 days, blah, blah, blah. Boom. Exhibit 2 with your employers, letterhead stating the reasons why you lost your job, due to haven't been able to get to work due to lack of transportation. Bang. Okay. Now you got your exhibits, you got your complaint ready and filed. You got your proof of claim. Now your complaint is ready to be filed. It's right. You file it. Bang. They gon' you just got to make sure you filing it to the proper department or agency that took your car, and whoever is in charge, who is principal, you go ahead and do that. Now, once you do that and you complete all of those different phases, let me see. Nah, that ain't it. Boom, boom, boom. Once you get all of this done, once you get your complaint done, right? I like to do, because you're going to have processes, okay? They ain't going to do it right away. I like to do a notary presentment while that complaint is being filed, while it's in the court. And the reason why you want to do a notary presentment is that once it goes back and the notary does it, and you did it um, uh, under a notice of protest with the opportunity to cure, and then they don't fail to cure it, you hit them with a notice of default. Then you hit them with a notice of default and the opportunity to cure. And then you go about doing your notary presentment, and now you get them in default. In default for failure to respond, to correspond, whatever, blah, 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 blah. You do all your notary presentment. The notary is going to get it. They're going to sign off on it, everything, because the notary is the one who's sending everything off. Once you do that, I'm gonna tell you that the notary presentment is it's the most powerful thing I've seen work in litigation. You get it all done, bang, boom, you have it ready, cocked and ready to go to court. You got proof of everything you need. Your paperwork is going to speak for itself. You're going to show in your exhibits, I also failed to put in your exhibits, that your car was found and registered with the MUS organization. They filed it properly, and they filed it with the county. They filed it with the proper organization and gave notice to the sheriff, blah, blah, blah. And everything is documented and recorded within the county and with the state. You did everything you supposed to do, so everybody was on notice, so there wasn't no discrepancies. And you used that also in the form of exhibits, showing that in your complaint that all of that has already been satisfied, proper notice was given, blah, blah, blah. This. Now, all your points of exhibits, your complaint, with your points of exhibits in support of your complaint, with your notary certificate of acknowledgement and your affidavit of proof of claim in support of a complaint. And it don't have to be an affidavit. It just can be statement, proof of claim. It could be a proof of claim in support of complaint, and that's where all your exhibits going to rest, and it's going to go line up with your complaint, because it's going to identify each exhibit in support as evidence. And if you do the notary presentment that's going to come in and finalize that. I like to do the notary presentment soon as it happens, so that you can have that with the complaint, that you started the notary presentment process, and you can start using that in the complaint also. So this is how you file a proper complaint, and this is how you win your case, because everything boils down to evidence. And let's go to the Ohio rules of evidence real quick to show you guys something on filing proper complaints. Trying to make these videos shorter and shorter. So, ruling on evidence. So, just give you this relevancy condition of fact. When a relevancy of evidence depends upon fulfillment of condition of fact, the court shall admit it upon or subject to the introduction of evidence sufficient to support a finding of the fulfillment of the condition. Weight and credibility. So this rule does not limit the right of a party to introduce before the jury evidence to weight or credibility. Now, this is what you got to understand when you're dealing with the court. Now, I told you, you're not going to get attorney fees, but anything that you lost, that you can prove that you lost, you're going to get. I'm not going to go over the rules of evidence over everything. I'll probably do a show on the rules of evidence, but I'm just want you to understand how this stuff work. Relevant evidence definition. Let's go to relevant evidence. Generally admissible. All relevant evidence is admissible except as otherwise provided by the Constitution of the United States, by the Constitution of the state, by a statute, by the General Assembly, not in conflict of the Supreme Court. By these rules or by other rules by Supreme Court, evidence which is not relevant is not admissible. So what I want you to understand, you're talking about private rights with private property. You're not using no statutes, no codes. You're going to type it up. You're going to make it in plain language. You're going to state the facts. And you're going to state the relief that you want. Return of property and loss of wages due to taking of property. You're going to make this real simple, and you're going to validate the complaint through that process that I explained. This is how you file a proper complaint. This is how you win your case. When you understand what you're doing, they're not going to be able to get around this. And it's also depends on how well your stuff was filed prior to the engagement of the officers. If you got state tags on there and you got your stuff registered with the state, I mean, they have jurisdiction because you registered your stuff with the state. You gave them control over that property. This is Keng El Bey. Just making this video brief and short on how to file a proper complaint. So watch this video time and time again. Just giving you some pertinent information on how to properly file a complaint so that you can get the relief you're looking for. Peace.